Alright, so I think I've said this before. The whole point of my T4Cast was a way for me to, I don't know, I don't want to say like be like therapy, because it's not like therapy. It's just I think about a lot of things, and sometimes just talking about it helps clear your mind and stuff. So that's kind of why I made these. I don't really have people to talk to, or not people that care about half the things I talk about. So I make these. I talk to myself, record it, and then post it. Anyways, even though it's stuff I think about, I try to have like a filter on what I actually do talk about, because not everything needs to be, I don't know, recorded and put out there for the world, you know? Like, say I'm having financial stresses. I don't talk about stuff like that. Or, you know, there's other things too that are personal that I'm not even going to allude to. I'm just saying, like, in general, there are things I could talk about. Like, something happened recently that was ridiculous, but it's very much a private thing, so I'm not going to talk about it. It's just for me and family to know about. But anyways, as such, I don't usually talk about things like with my daughter's mother. I mean, I have before. Like, there's an episode I made about on October 17th, I think. I forget what year it was. Maybe 2021 or something. But that's only because the situation was just ridiculous, how things went down, and I felt bad for Morgan, and so that's why I made the video. But otherwise, I don't usually talk about things. But this one I wanted to talk about, because basically what it is I don't know. I guess Morgan has been giving her mom a lot of like a hard time, kind of like attitude-ish and stuff. And I get it. That can be annoying and frustrating to have to deal with your kid acting like that. But I feel like she's like that with her mom for a whole bunch of reasons that her mom either A, doesn't realize, or B, fails to acknowledge. Like, realizes it but isn't going to actually acknowledge them, and just pretends that they don't exist or whatever. The thing also is, I would rather talk to her about them, but she's very difficult. If I tried to talk to her about the situation, she would see it as I'm attacking her or whatever, and then she'd make it out to be like an argument, then we'd have like weird tensions, and I don't need that. I went through enough of that when she was a baby and stuff for no reason. I don't need to have it reignited. So really the only person she listens to is her husband. Anyways, like I said, it doesn't matter what I say. She won't listen to me. She'll it'll just make her mad that I'm saying these things. So the only one, like I said, that she would listen to is if her husband said these things. Yeah, she'd get cranky with him at first too, but then after, when she settled down and thought about it, she'd realize that maybe he was onto something, and she'd start to reevaluate herself and what have you. But me, it's not gonna matter. So that's why I figured maybe I'll just resort to this, because it is something that I think about a lot, and I just want to talk about it. Like I said, these are for me to just talk and get it off my mind. I guess it won't really get off my mind, but it'll feel a little better. It won't be so heavy. So anyways, for me, Morgan's totally fine. The only thing she does that's annoying to me on a regular basis is she likes to burp obnoxiously all the time. Like, it's almost like borderline forced out, just to make it as loud and ridiculous as possible. But she also revealed to me, ironically, just yesterday, that she does it on purpose because of how I react, how I always say, what do I always say? It's something that's just natural, that happens in the moment. Now I'm trying to think of it, I don't know. She has to be here to burp for me to know what I say. I don't know, I say something stupid like, oh, here we go, being nasty again, or, you know, then you wonder why I'm always beating you or something. Which, obviously isn't true. I've never beat her. That's the whole joke of why I say that to her. And then you wonder why I'm constantly nonstop beat. And then she says, you don't ever beat me. But anyways, yeah, so she said that's why she does it on purpose, because of my stupid reactions. She thinks it's funny or something. And I'm like, okay, maybe you think it's funny, and I am a bit over the top, but at the same time, I am being serious. Like, it's gross. Stop being so ridiculous. I get it. If you have to burp, you have to burp, but you don't really have to force it out like that, so that half the time it sounds like you're going to start puking. Like, seriously, kid. But anyways, that's really the only issue I have with her. She's ridiculous like that. So anyways, for her mom, I guess she, is a little bit snippy and stuff. But as I was saying, there are a lot of factors that feed into this. Why she's that way with her mom, and totally fine with me. So, like, a big one, I would say, is the way that her mom treats her versus how she treats her brother. So the brother's not my kid, that's her husband's kid they have together. But she, like, babies that boy and is on her for everything. Doesn't matter what she does, half the time it's wrong. Where him, he can do something wrong and it's fine. Oh, well, you'll get a warning this time, but next time just make sure you're paying attention better or something. You know, like, she's so soft with him. And so her and I make jokes all the time, like how she's, oh, my sweet little hunk. Like, we make up extreme scenarios, like he burned down the house or something, and she's like, oh, it's okay, my little hunk. But then we make a joke that she comes over with a bucket of water to help put the fire out, and she starts yelling at her, what are you doing with water? Put that down. Your brother made this fire. Just let it burn. Because that's basically how it is. So anyways, obviously that's going to make problems. She's going to have, like, resentments, and maybe she will be a little attitude-y because she's annoyed that how her mom is constantly, like, punishing her over every little stupid thing, but yet her brother can get away with every single thing. And it's literally in every regard, like in school, you know, she has the grading system in her school is weird. It doesn't go by normal, like, 90s and 80s like we had, or ABCDs. It just goes by 3. You have a 3, a 2, or a 1, and then there's points. You could have, like, a 2.8 in the class or whatever. But anyways, like, she expects her to have all 3s in every class, which is fine, you know, good to have high expectations, and she can handle it. She is a smart kid. You know, it almost seems like her classes seem easy to her. Like, I don't hear of her struggling with anything. And for the most part, she almost does have straight 3s anyway. She has, like, I don't know, a couple 2.9s, close enough to a 3. But, yeah, she expects all this out of her. But, like, the boy, I don't really know his grades. Obviously, he's not my kid. It doesn't matter to me what he's doing. But I know he is not at a 3 caliber at all. Yeah. I don't even know he's in elementary school still, so he probably just has, like, the PI, you know, passing, incomplete, master and all that. But he's probably just getting, I don't know, more mid stuff. Like, maybe he'd have all 2s if he was on that scale. But, like, she'd see that as fine. Oh, you got a 2, my hunk. But then Morgan gets a 2.9. Why do you only have a 2.9? That should be a 3. And so, again, that's another thing that she doesn't experience that yet. Give it a few years, though, when he's in middle school as well, and then she will be having that. Like, Mom, why do I have to get all 3s, but he can get a 2 and you're happy with that? So, yeah, obviously that is one big thing that plays into this when you're constantly openly favoring one child over the other. And the other thing, too, is she uses the excuse, well, he's still learning. He's much younger. He's still learning. He's 3 years younger than her, so he's almost 8. And it's like, okay, I get it, he's still learning, but at the same time, when she was that age, you still expected the world out of her. So again, why is he getting a pass? When you take it apples to apples, you know, when she was almost 8 versus him being almost 8, you still expected everything out of her, and yet he gets to have all this pass because he's still learning. But apparently she was supposed to be mastered at it when she was 8. So again, she thinks about this too, like, well, when I was that age, I didn't get a pass. Like, I guess for an example is he still struggles with tying his shoes. He can do it, but it takes him forever. I ought to know, because I got to bring him to school in the morning, and I sit there waiting for him to tie his shoes. Sometimes I think about just jumping up and be like, let me do it, because it literally takes him like 20 minutes. There's times where it's like 6:30 and he's getting his shoes on. I'm like, all right, sweet, we'll be out of here soon. And we don't leave until like 6:50 because it took him that long to tie his shoes. So anyways, like I say, sometimes I think about it, but I'm like, no, he needs to learn, because obviously they baby him too mother effing much. That's why he still can't tie his shoes. If they didn't baby him, he'd know how to do it. Morgan knows how to do it just fine because she wasn't babied. She was expected the world out of. So I just leave him there to struggle. And then he starts getting all frustrated, and I'm like, whatever, I'm still not going to help him. Figure it out, kid. I don't say it, that's just what I'm thinking. I'm like, nope, not going to help you. You need to do this. Your sister was expected to do this when she was probably 6. You're 2 years older than that, and you still can't do it. You need to figure this out. I'm not your mom or dad. I'm not babying you. But, yeah, and then the problem with him, too, just as a side note, is he actually does tie his shoes. but he goes too long with the loops, so he keeps going and pulling it, and then it comes out. And then it's like, kid, what are you doing? And then when I tell him this, he keeps doing it. I'm like, you have your shoe tied. He starts getting frustrated. Oh, it's just too hard. These laces aren't long enough. And I'm like, no, you have it just fine, but you keep pulling the thing, and it comes out. Like, don't go so much. Your shoe was tied, and then you untied it, basically. Ugh. But anyways, so yeah, that's clearly one thing. So in comparison with me, because like I said, I don't deal with anything from her. It's like she's two different kids. She's completely fine with me and apparently terrible with her mom. I don't know. But yeah, but that's one thing right there. I don't have another kid, so she doesn't have to worry about favoritism. But even if I did have another kid, there wouldn't be favoritism. I would be equal with them. You know what I mean? They'd both be my kids, and you know, I'd have fun with both of them, and if one was acting like a dickhead, it would get disciplined, and if the other one was acting like a dickhead, it would get disciplined. It wouldn't be, you know, this weird imbalanced mismatch like she has, where one kid gets severely punished and the other one just gets not even a tap on the wrist, just a little sweet coddle, basically. Like a perfect example that happened recently is they have watches they have a, how do I explain them? I don't even know what they're called. I don't know, they're watches that have a cellular signal, and they can have 5 phone numbers programmed into them. And that's all that can call them and all that they can call. They can't call anything else. Nothing else can call them. It's just those 5 that are programmed. It also has texting capabilities, but again, that's like super controlled. Like, she can only text her mom. They both can only text their mom. She has it set up on her phone that it's just her. So anyways, she expects them to have their watch on them every day, so that way then when the bus comes, they can call her and be like, oh, we're almost home, because the way that the bus works now is, even though they live pretty close to the main street, you have to be right there on the street to pick the kid up, otherwise the bus driver is not supposed to drop them off. It's kind of a dumb rule, because before what she was doing is she was able to her mom was able to stand in the doorway and the bus driver would see her and good enough. But nope, apparently there was like a supervisor or something on the bus once and saw this happen and was like, oh, you can't just let the kids off. She's gotta be right here at the end of the street to pick them up. It's pretty stupid, but, so yeah, so she wants the kids to call, that way then she knows, so she's not standing out there at the road for 25 minutes waiting, but she can go out, oh okay. Like she has them call like a road ahead or something because there's a stop there. So then she knows, okay, come out, and then I'll be at the street by the time the bus gets here, and, you know, I'm not waiting all day. So anyways, for the most part, Morgan does good, obviously, because she's expected so much out of her that she's just programmed to know all of her responsibilities. But the boy, he forgets stuff all the time. He either forgets to make his bed, or he forgets his watch, or he forgets this or that, or a combination of things. I think he forgot his lunch one time even, which I guess fortunately his dad works third shift, so he gets home at like 8:30, so he was able to get his lunch and bring it to the school for him. But yeah, so anyway, she ended up coming up with a checklist that she hangs in the refrigerator, and it's something for them for every day what they need to do. There's a checklist for morning, what they have to do in the morning, get dressed, brush your teeth, have cereal, get your lunch together, make sure you got your watch, make your bed, and something else. Then there's something for when they get off the bus, like, do your homework, unpack your bag. What else is on there? Get your clothes out for tomorrow or something like that. And then there's before bed. And obviously that's short. It's just brush your teeth. Maybe that's where it says get your clothes out for tomorrow. I don't know. And stuff. But anyways, my point is on Friday, he still managed to forget his watch. Despite having a checklist even now that you have to go through and check everything off, he still forgot the dang watch. And I didn't think of it because, I was thinking about a whole bunch of stuff. Actually, yeah, that day was, I took that day off from work, so I still had to get up early, which sucked. But I was just thinking about how my day was going to go. I was thinking about my upcoming weekend. Like, I was just thinking about things. I wasn't thinking about his watch. I don't care about his watch. I'm thinking about my life. So, yeah, I'm thinking about all that. I'm thinking also that, everything should be fine. There's a checklist now. I shouldn't have to remind him about, do you have your watch? Well, it's right there on the checklist, so you should have it. So, anyways, all I was thinking was, see, now in this situation, I bet you he's going to get off. He doesn't have his watch. She's gonna say, "Bud, you need to remember your watch. How many times do I have to tell you this? It's even on the checklist, blah, blah, blah." And nothing more is really gonna come of it. But I was thinking, if Morgan forgot her watch, what would have happened? She probably would have been, giving her some kind of stupid, like, grounding. "Oh, well, since you didn't remember your watch and you know that's something important I want you to have, then you're not watching TV for a week," or something stupid. And it's just like, why the discrepancy? Why does he get such a pass that you just talk to him? But she actually gets a punishment. I mean, she wouldn't forget her watch. She's been wearing the stupid thing since she was like 5 every day. So it's almost second nature now to her, like putting on a seatbelt in a car. But I'm just saying, like, hypothetically, if she did forget, that's how it would go. Where him, probably nothing happened. I didn't ask, but I imagine nothing happened. Because Morgan didn't say anything. Like, "Oh, guess what? Because Bud forgot his watch on Friday, Mom, blah, blah, blah." So, anyhow, that's one huge thing why I think she might, quote-unquote, act up for her mom more because of that. Second thing that I think plays a factor in this, why she is the way she is with her mom versus me, is because... Let me think about this. I'm drawing a blank now. Like I said, I make these while I'm driving, so it's kind of hard to focus sometimes on the road when there's cars passing you and stuff and talk about life things. What is the second reason? Second reason, I just had it and it went away. I'm thinking of the third reason. I don't want to say the third reason now because the third reason has its own whole backstory. Well, not really backstory, but like supporting stuff to talk about. Oh, yeah. So the second reason would be, I feel like it could stem from when she was younger. So when she was younger, like a lot younger, 4, 3, maybe even 2, maybe not 2, but 3, 4, and some of 5 even, her mom used to scream at her all the time and over, I don't know what. There was so many times where I would go there to pick her up and she'd be just screaming her head off at her. And like, I remember this one time at the apartment they used to live at, the way it worked was the bathroom was like connected to the kitchen. It was like that sounds weird, but it wasn't as weird as that sounds. Like the kitchen was its own room, and then like there was a wall, and then the door was right there for the bathroom. And so anyways, Morgan's kind of standing in the corner of like the doorway to the bathroom and in the kitchen, and like her mom's screaming at her, and she's just like kind of standing there having like a panic attack, anxiety attack or something, just because she's a little kid. She was like 4 and her mom's screaming at her, and she didn't really know what to do and how to act, and it was just like, what in the world is going on right now? Like, this is insane. She's a little kid. Like, what could she have done that is that terrible that you have to act like this? What's worse is I know she didn't do anything that bad because she's always been a good kid. Even as a baby. She's always been perfect. So it's like, I know she's done nothing that deserves this kind of like over-the-top aggression and rage and stuff. And so every time I'd see that, I always think, oh my God, this is ridiculous. But then I'd think, good thing I'm here to pick her up. She gets away from this. She gets to get a break from this and be able to calm down and just relax and take it easy with me instead of dealing with this all day. And then I never really thought of this at the time, but thinking about it now, I'm like, geez, how did those days go when I didn't get her? Imagine when I show up and see her being flipped out at. It was a day that I wasn't supposed to pick her up. What happens after? Does her mom just keep going on and on and on and screaming at her? Or like, what is the conclusion to the insanity? I'm like, God, those days must have sucked, the days I didn't get her. I never realized. I mean, my days sucked on the days I didn't get her, because during those days I was working 2 jobs and I was just working a crappy second job. I'd go to Dunkin's, that was, so it's not like my days were any better, but still, in comparison, working at Dunkin's was better than being screamed at by your mom for no reason. So anyways, all I'm saying is, when she was that age and she was just a little kid, her brain development wasn't really there to be able to like defend herself or whatever. She was just a little kid. So her mom screamed at her and she was just like, oh my God, my mom's yelling at me. But now that she's older, I think now if her mom starts getting a little mad at her or whatever over something stupid, she's more like, Mom, what the fuck's your problem? You know what I mean? Like, what are you getting all hostile at me for? It's like she can understand it more and realize how stupid it is, versus when she was a little kid, she didn't really understand, you know? The second thing is, maybe because of all those years of her treating her like that, you know, it kind of is in there, like not a repressed memory, but you know what I mean? It's just something like that's part of her now. She has like that negative feeling towards her mom from all those years of, like, I don't know, verbal abuse, psychological abuse. I don't really know what it would count as, but you know, and now that she's older, it's just kind of being reciprocated. Like, she just has that disdain for her mom for how she was treated, and so now she's a little snippy. Like, you know what I mean? It's almost like you, meaning her mom, kind of cultivated this for yourself. Where me, I've always been sweet to her and fun to her, so why would she have any kind of negative feelings towards me? I never really did anything to her. I think I've yelled at her like 5 times in her whole entire life. And she actually deserved it. It wasn't because I was bored and just felt like yelling at a kid. It was because she was doing something. Like, I remember one time, it's because she kept doing something. It was over the course of the whole entire day. And I told her nicely, knock it off. Knock it off, stop. Cut it out. You know, and over the course, I think it was like 6 hours. It was like from noon until 6. And we were at stores and she was being, and then we got home and she kept doing whatever she was doing. I don't remember now. This was years ago. But, you know, then I just kind of snapped after dealing with it all day and telling her all day. So yeah, she got yelled at. Or there was another time, something she used to do when she was younger, because her mom actually babied her on this. Anytime she fell and got hurt, you know, a little cut or something, it was, oh my God, are you okay? And then rush over to her and act like she got her arm amputated, and it was like, she's got a tiny cut, she's fine, relax. So, but she used to always be so over the top and it was like, kid, stop it. So anyway, she was doing that one day, and again, it was over nothing. She had a tiny, like, little scuff on her elbow or something dumb. And it was like, relax, like, you're not with your mom, I'm not gonna overly cater to you, you're totally fine, you're not even bleeding, like, you're fine. Maybe it stings a little for now, but that's it. You don't have to be acting like this, like you just got your legs ripped off. And she just kept, and it was just ridiculous. She went on and on and on for like 20 minutes like that. So, of course, it made me lose it. Which is ironic, or funny, or whatever the word is I'm looking for, because that day when she was doing that, her cousin, my nephew, was there too, and he still remembers it to this day. Remember that time you yelled at Morgan? Yes, I do. But apparently he does too. And again, this was a while ago. This was, I don't know, 4 years ago maybe? No, more than, maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago, somewhere around there. But, you know, she brought it on herself by acting like an idiot, even after I told her multiple times, you're fine, stop, relax, calm down. So, yeah. But like I said, like 5 times total. She's almost 11. She's been yelled at by me 5 times. That's like once every 2 years. Versus what her mom did, which used to be like every single day. So, yeah, maybe that, I don't know, repressed rage or whatever you want to call it, repressed hatred. Maybe not even repressed, just misunderstood, because, like I said, she was a kid and didn't really get it. Rage and hatred and stuff is coming out now, like, you know? And then, you gotta keep this in mind, too. Those are 2 separate scenarios that I said could be contributing to why she might be the way she is. Then there's also the fact that combine those, you know what I mean? Like, those aren't individuals, those are 2 things just swirling around in her head, which makes her feel a certain way towards her mom. And then the third thing that I think maybe makes her feel a certain way is how her mom's always, like, quick to punish her. Like I said, punish her and do nothing to the brother. Like, currently she's on a punishment. She's grounded until she can act right or whatever. And so she doesn't have access to her radio, which I guess she likes to listen to at night before bed. And I don't know what else she took away. No TV or something. Like, all these restrictions. And it's all kind of just dumb. Like, most of the times it seems like she gets punished over dumb things. And, like, that's the other thing I'm saying, too. Like, it's almost like her mom just looks forward to being able to punish her. Like, another example, I guess, what day was it? Maybe Thursday before I picked her up. She was, Thursday before I picked her up, This kind of has nothing to do with punishment, but apparently her brother was, I don't know, annoying about something. Like, I guess Friday at school, it was Spirit Week for him, and it was Hat Day. Oh, it's H for Hat Day. And I guess he said it a whole bunch of times. Oh, it's H for Hat Day. Tomorrow's H for Hat Day. And I didn't see that because I wasn't there. I got the very tail end of it. But I guess, eventually she said something like, let's just say, yes, bud, we heard H for Hat Day. But of course, her mom, goes to defend him. He's just excited. You don't have to say anything. Even though his dad also, because that's what I got there for, the tail end of it, when his dad was like, yes, we heard you. But then that's when she steps up and, of course, defends him, the kid, every time. Even when the dad is annoyed with it, still defends him. And so that's all I'm trying to say. Like, that's something Morgan sees. Like, even when his own father is getting annoyed with him saying the same thing 52 million times in a row, it's don't yell at him. He's just excited. Tomorrow's Hat Day. He wants to wear his hat. Which, again, as a side note, ironically, he forgot his hat. And I figured he would. And I didn't think of it at first either until after. I was like, you know what? This kid didn't even have a hat on. He was annoying them yesterday by saying over and over again, oh, tomorrow's Hat Day, tomorrow's Hat Day. And he doesn't even wear a hat. But anyways, that's just another little side thing. Like I was saying that that's something she would see. Like, oh, if I said something a million times, he'd probably be like, okay, we heard you. But him, he gets a pass. So he's just excited. But anyways, back to what I was saying about how she just seems like punish happy, is how on Thursday, maybe it was, before I picked her up, apparently they were going to go get some snacks or something, and she was saying, you're going to get the mini muffins or something, and then she was like, no, I'm not, and she's like, well, you always do, so I'm sure you will. And so then she says, oh, adding on another week to her punishment because she was arguing with me, like, it's my money, don't tell me what I'm going to do with my money. And on one hand, it's like, okay, I get it, that could be annoying, a kid trying to tell you what you're going to do, but at the same time, it's not that serious. Like, yeah, it's your money, you're going to do what you want with it. Like, it doesn't, just because she's saying whatever she's saying, it doesn't matter, it's irrelevant. At the end of the day, she has no say. Even if she puts stuff in the carriage, you're going to put it back and be like, no, we're not getting that. I already said it. Like, I don't think that's something that needs to be punishable. Add a week onto her punishment, which apparently is forever, until she can act right. But, it just seems like, ooh, an excuse to punish her more. Sweet. Oh, nice. I can add on a week now. I don't know. Like, she's done it to me before, said her stupid stuff like that, and I just ignore it. It's not that serious. Like, she says, you're going to get this or whatever, and I'm like, no, I'm not. She says, yeah, you are. And I'm like, yeah, we'll see about that when we go to the store and I don't get this. And then we go to the store and I don't get it. Like, I'm not going to punish her. Basically, me proving my point that I'm not getting it is her punishment. Because she thinks I'm getting it and is so, hell-bent on believing that I'm going to get it. So when I don't get it, it's like, I told you I wasn't getting it. I don't know why you argued with me. And that's it. That's as far as it needs to go. Because that's as serious as it is. It's not any more serious than that. But nope, oh, I'm adding on another week, no radio because she wants to argue with me. It's not even arguing. It's borderline, like, crappy jokes, if you will. You know what I mean? Like, she's kind of semi-joshing around. Like, oh, yeah, you're going to get this. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even explain it, but it's not that serious. I guess in wrapping up, even though this wrap-up is probably not going to be too short, another thing that I don't know if this so much correlates to Morgan, quote-unquote, being bad or whatever she says, mouthy and all this, but I know she doesn't do anything with the kids. She does a lot for the kids. Brings them to parks on Mother's Day, which is supposed to be a day all about moms. She brought them to some indoor theme park thing. I don't know what it is. I never heard of it. I don't know where it is. It seemed like it was probably fun, but point is, even then she still did stuff for the kids, but she doesn't do anything with the kids. Like, one thing that Morgan's famous for saying about her mom is that all she does is sits on her phone on Facebook, or she says watching fake TikTok. I guess it's, I don't know, something. I don't have Facebook, so I don't really know what she's talking about either, but I guess it's some kind of TikTok that's through Facebook, like Facebook Reels or something. I don't know. But yeah, she says that's all she does. Sits on the couch on Facebook, maybe watching fake TikTok and watching TV. That's what Morgan sees of her mom, because her mom doesn't do anything with the kids, just for the kids. And so anyways, I actually suggested that to her. I said, well, maybe you should try doing stuff with the kids too, because that might help. Morgan will start developing more happy feelings towards you and stuff if you're doing stuff with them, not just for them. Yeah, for them's good, but with them's better. Like I said to her, my dad growing up, he worked a lot of hours. That's just his job. He wasn't putting in overtime or anything. He just had to work a lot of hours. He didn't have an option. And so he wasn't really around too much, like during the week. It was just me, my brother, and my mom. My dad would get home like late. Well, not super late, but like 8 o'clock. But when we were kids, we were already in bed. And then as we got older, we saw him for like an hour and a half, and then we'd have to go to bed for school. So anyways, you didn't really see him except for weekends. But on the weekends, he did a lot with us. He'd go outside and play football with us. He'd play baseball with us, tennis with us. When my mom had a part-time job on weekends, we used to drive around, and we would, we used to pick up cans on the side of the road and stuff. We'd go for woods walks in the backyard. I remember one time we were going through the woods, and there was this, I don't know what it was, muddy part, but he didn't see it, and he sunk way in. I think he even sucked his shoe off when he went to pull his foot out. And then he said something like, see, this is why I go first, then you guys don't fall into this stuff. But, I also remember, too, this was kind of funny. We went for a woods walk, and in our backyard, it's where we usually started, and we just wandered all throughout the woods, and then we were coming out, and there was a house, and we were going towards it, and my dad's like, hold on, there's somebody's house there, like, we can't just walk into their backyard. But it ended up being our house. In the moment, I thought he legitimately was confused and thought that was someone else's house. But looking back at it now, he could have been teasing us. I don't know. He could have been just joking around just so we'd be like, what? That's somebody's house? Oh my God, where are we? But I don't know. His reaction was pretty genuine. Like, he was like, stop, because we were going. Because, like, my brother and I, we recognized it was our house, but he didn't. So we're just walking towards it, and stop, this is somebody's house. I think maybe one of our dogs was barking at us, too. So, like, he heard that, and it's kind of funny, though. I don't know where we went, how we got apparently lost so that he didn't even realize we were in our own backyard. But anyhow, so yeah, that's like all the things that he did with us. And so, it's things that I remember, and it was fun times. So even though we only had him on the weekends, really, it's still a lot of memories from all those weekends of doing fun things together. Versus my mom, she did a lot for us, especially in the summer. My dad made enough money that my mom was able to be a stay-at-home mom, which as a kid I always thought was awesome. I was always happy about that. There was two things as a kid I always thought about that I had as an advantage over other kids. One was that my parents were married. There was a lot of kids that their parents were divorced or their parents were never together or something, and I always felt happy that mine were together and married and all that. And the second one was that my mom was able to be a stay-at-home mom. Because I thought about the other kids. Either A, they had to go to, like, summer camp, which I guess is fun. But still, I always thought, yeah, but is it as fun as being able to stay home and do fun stuff with your mom and stuff? Like, go to Burger King for lunch and go swimming and do this and do that. I think this is funner than summer camp, where it's kind of like school, but just outside. It's not like school, but you know what I mean. It's controlled. Like, you can't just do whatever. You're at a facility until the time's over. So, but anyways, yeah. So, what was I saying? Yeah. So my mom, like, stay-at-home mom and stuff. So, like, in the summer, yeah, she did a lot for us. She'd bring us to parks. She'd bring us to McDonald's that had play places so that we could play there in the summer. She took us swimming a lot. All kinds of stuff like that, but never really anything with us. It was always for us. Like, if she took us swimming, she'd just sit on the bench and just watch us swim for an hour or so, which, looking back at it now, I don't know why she ever did that. That had to have been so boring for her to just sit there like that. Like, this was before cell phones and stuff, you know what I mean? So it's not like she at least could, watch TikTok or browse Twitter or something while sitting there. Like, she was straight up just sitting there for an hour or two, just bored. And I always remember, like, when she was ready to go, I hated it because I like swimming. Swimming is probably my number one activity that I enjoy. And yeah, so I always hated it when it was time to go. But looking back at it now, I was like, well, geez, no wonder she was ready, because she's just sitting there bored, doing nothing besides watching us, I guess. But anyways, the only thing I can think of that she always regularly did with us was go for a walk. A lot of times after dinner, we'd take the dogs. Well, we had a lot of dogs, so we'd take some dogs for a walk. We'd each have one, so 3 of us. It's 3 dogs plus us going for a walk. That's really it. Otherwise, I don't know. There's not really too much together time. Just a lot of for us. So anyhow, which I'm not trying to say is that a bad thing. I don't have any regrets or whatever word you want to use. I'm just saying that's kind of how it was. But anyways, that's the situation with her, with Morgan's mom. Like, she doesn't do anything with them. She does it for them. So I was like, try doing stuff with them. It's not that bad. Like, I don't ever feel put out of my way when I do stuff with Morgan, because we do fun things. Half the time it's my idea. Like, we've painted several pictures together. We follow Bob Ross tutorials on YouTube, and it's fun. It's my idea. I let her pick the picture. Sometimes she doesn't know, so I'll pick a picture, and then we just paint together. Or, we play video games together. Or, again, that's fun, obviously. Or we'll play board games together or something. Color together. Even that, we made coloring together kind of fun, too, because we haven't really colored in a while. And, now that she's older, it's a little bit different. But, like, when she was younger and we would color, she came up with this thing, surprise pictures. So what it was I was supposed to choose a coloring book for her, and she would choose a coloring book for me. And then what you do is you choose a picture in that book, and you color it, and it's for the other person, but it's supposed to be a surprise. You can't let the other person see until you're done with your picture. And, so, like, that made coloring even funner. Like, I don't have a problem with coloring. I don't mind coloring. But, like, that kind of, it almost made it like a game. So, like, not only were you coloring, but it was part of a game. So you were doing, like, almost 2 things at once. So it was kind of, like, doubly fun, So, yeah, it's not hard to do things with your kid and enjoy it. Even going to the park when she was younger, when we'd go to the park, I say younger, I still would play with her, but it's different now because she's older, But when she was younger, go to the park, I'd always play with her. And even the days when she was more imaginative, like, she would pretend that we're playing PJ Masks, and she was, I don't know, the owl one. What's that one's name? Owlette? And she would make me be the robot. I forget the guy's name. But yeah, so I would walk around pretending I'm the robot, and she'd be Rowlette, or Owlette, whatever the character's name is, and yeah. You just engage. It's not hard to do, and it's kind of fun. It's better than just sitting there scrolling Facebook, making your kids entertain themselves. And it probably keeps them less annoying, you know what I mean? While she's sitting there doing nothing, browsing Facebook, the kids are playing with each other, and then now they're irritating each other. They're probably starting to fight. Where if you're playing with them, now it's all of you, and maybe it's, you know what I mean? It's more, they'd be more engaged with you than with each other. So then there's less fights going on, less irritations going on, because they're focused on you. It's not hard. So anyways, I mentioned all that because she said, that's what she said one time about me, was, oh, well, I always have to be the serious parent, and you're always the fun parent. And I was like, well, being a fun parent, so to speak, isn't, like, you know what I mean? It's not like it's, how do I phrase this? It's not like only one of us can have that title. Oh, I got the fun title. You got to be serious. Sucks to be you. Like, we can both be fun. You just choose not to be fun. Like, that's not my problem. Don't get upset with me because you choose to not be fun. Like, how is that my problem? And at the same time, you're talking about I'm not serious. You're the serious parent. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like when need be, I have way better control of Morgan than you do. Anytime when she was younger, I used to be, I say used to because I don't really have to worry about this anymore. She's older, it's different. But when she was younger, if she was acting up, all I'd have to do was look at her. A certain look, and she knew, and she stopped. And if she tried to test me, which she would do sometimes, she'd see the look and keep being annoying. Then all I'd have to say is, a couple words, like, I don't know, what the heck would I say? I'd give her the look and say something like, seriously? Knock it off. Something like that. And then she'd stop. Like, her mom never had control like that. So, I don't know. You're trying to criticize me as not being a serious parent or whatever, and that's you, and I'm the fun parent, but I feel like I've always had better control over Morgan than she had. And I used to see my nephew a lot more, and I had control over him as well. So, if you want to try to say, like, oh, well, you only had one kid to worry about. No, I used to have to babysit him a lot, and I had control over him too, and he'd try to act up. I'd get him right in line. So that's just like her. 2 kids, 1 boy, 1 girl. I had 1 boy, 1 girl I dealt with regularly and had them both under control just fine. So it has nothing to do with me being fun and her being serious. It's the way that you go about it. It's also like the old adage, so to speak, where it's like, you gotta, what is it? You gotta put out what you want to get or whatever, give respect to earn respect or something. I feel like being fun with both of these kids. That's the other thing too. My nephew, we all have fun together. He likes hanging out with me because we do fun stuff. And so anyways, yeah, you do fun stuff with the kids. You give them a good time and you be their buddy, if you will, and the fun parent. And then it earns that respect. That way then when you do need to be more serious, they're way more willing and ready and all that to comply and be like, okay, I guess, you're always cool with me, so now that you're frustrated, I'll be cool with you. Where if you're always boring and a dickhead to the kids, and then you get upset with them, then they're just like, man, fuck you. It's just more of your nonsense yelling at me. So, yeah, she tries to make me sound like I'm the villain, but it's like, I don't know. You're just not doing it right. And instead of recognizing your flaws, you're trying to project onto me as if I'm the problem when I'm not. But anyhow, yeah, so ironically though, the day after I said something like maybe you should try to do stuff with the kids instead of just for them, when I came over, she was doing stuff with the kids. I forget what it was. She was playing a card game with them or something like that. And I was thinking, what's up with this? Is this a result of what I said yesterday? Are you actually putting an effort to play with them? Or is this just coincidental? Like the kids wanted to do something and you're like, I guess. And then, it just happens to be after a day that I said something. I don't know. I mean, it could very well be option 2, but if it was option 1, then that would be kind of weird. Like, wow, you actually listened to somebody for once? You actually took my advice and you're trying to be fun as well? Because it doesn't have to be just me who's fun. You can be fun too. You just choose not to. But anyways, I think that's all I got. But yeah, that's just the things I think about. Like, she's always complaining about Morgan and how she's so bad, but it's like, well, you don't take a look at yourself. Really look at yourself and analyze yourself and your situation and everything, and like, you'll see that it's not so much her. Yeah, she's the one acting up, but why? Why is she? She never has with me, really. So why is she fine with me and a pain with you? It's not like she's just like, I chose, eeny, meeny, miny, moe. Okay, Mom, I'm going to give her a hard time all the time. No, it's because that's what you cultivated. It's like nature versus nurture. That's the nurture you generated. Where the nurture I generated is that, we're cool, we chill, we hang out, everything's happy and fine and good. If you cultivated that, then she'd be fine with you too. But that's not what you cultivated. Ever since she was a kid, screaming at her and stuff. Like, what do you expect is going to happen when she gets older? And if you keep going down this path, too, of punishing her all the time and being soft on her brother and hard on her, it's only going to make things worse. As she gets older, they always talk about the teen years. Oh, when the kid becomes a teen, it's so much, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, well, keep this up and teen years are really going to suck for you. Well, possibly. I don't know. Because then what can happen is when she's a teen, she can just be like, you know what, Mom, fuck this. I'm going to go live with Dad. I'm switching my primary residence from you to him. And at that point, there'll be nothing she can really do about it. Because if Morgan really wants that, all we got to do is go to court and she can say to the judge herself, I don't want to live with my mom anymore. I'd rather have visits with my mom and live with my dad. But, I mean, that's what she's going to create. It's funny because when she was a baby, she tried so hard to make it so I had nothing. basically. I mean, even what I do have, she saw that as too much when she was a baby. And it's like, well, now you've just created it so that the opposite is going to happen by the child's choosing. So the irony there. You might have had some control and say when she was a baby, but you don't anymore. Well, you still kind of do. She's only 10, but you know what I mean. Pretty soon you won't. When she's 13, 14. I know that's not an adult, but still, it's a child, an individual that's old enough to be able to express themselves. And like I said, we can go to court and she can say, I don't want to live with my mom. I'd rather live with my dad and just see my mom like I do with my dad now. And, well... Then she'll be like, I don't know why Morgan like this. She's so terrible. And it's like, no, she's not. She doesn't want to live with you, not because I'm the fun parent. I don't have any chores and responsibilities and all this for her, but it's because of how you are. It has nothing to do with me. I mean, it kind of does because I'm, you know what I mean? But it's more, you would be pushing her away with how you behave. And actually, now that I just mentioned that, I forgot. That's the other thing, too. She always complains that, oh, Morgan likes being with you better anyways because you don't give her any chores or responsibilities and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I don't see her that often, okay? I see her Tuesdays and Thursdays and then every other weekend. So if it's not one of my weekends, I see her Friday morning until she gets on the bus. And then I don't see her again until Tuesday afternoon at like 4:30-ish. Like, what do you think I'm going to do? Save all kinds of chores and responsibilities for her? Well, I had the whole weekend that I could have got this done, but nope, got to save this for Tuesday so Morgan can do it as soon as she gets here. That's stupid. Like what? Am I going to have a full trash that smells bad? But, I got to save that. Can't take it out because she's got to take it out. Can't take my recycling out even though my trash day is Monday. I got to save it for Tuesday so then she can have something to do. Can't vacuum. I got to save that for her. Like, what do you think I'm supposed to do? Yeah, she doesn't have very many responsibilities with me because most of the crap that's got to get done around the place, I just do it. I take out my trash. I take out my recycling. I do my laundry. I clean my windows and stuff. I'm not going to save stuff for her to do. That's weird. Again, especially when I don't see her that much. Like, why am I going to try to waste my time with her just doing chores? That's dumb. Really, the only chore she has to worry about is her room. If you make a mess in there, clean it up. That's all. But that's obvious. That's not even a chore. That's a given. But, again, in comparison, she talks about how I don't give out chores because she makes the kids do everything. From what I understand, when it's time to clean the house, they do a vast majority of it. They have to dust everything, they vacuum, they clean the windows, they clean the mirrors, the bathroom. I don't know what she does. I think she just does dishes, she being their mom, does the dishes and I don't know, something else. But for the most part, it sounds like the kids do it all. So it's like, well, yeah, that's the other thing. Those are extremes. Like, you expect to be able to do nothing and have the kids do everything, and you think that's how I'm supposed to be, too. What is this idiot doing? Are you... Again, driving when I make these, and there's a walking male person just, starts to casually dart out in front of me. Like, what are you doing? You're not even in a crosswalk. Like, at first, I was thinking, am I supposed to lock him up? Crosswalk. No, you're not even in a crosswalk. You're just jaywalking and, darting out in front of me. I mean, he did look like a total idiot. He has, a weird jerry curl going on with, a hippie bandana thing tied around it. Not even a bandana. It's just, a string. You know what I mean? That's why I say hippie. And I say jerry curl because it's goofy because he's a white guy, too. So it's, it's kind of stupid and hippie. He's just a hippie and just brain dead. Oh, a car right there. I should walk out in front of it. Not in a crosswalk or anything. I'm a male guy. I have the right of way here. No, you don't, dickbag. But anyways, yeah, back to what I was saying. So, she just makes them do everything. So, apparently I'm the bad guy because I don't have any dumb chores for her because I handle it. Oh, my God, you handle your own chores? Oh, you're such a terrible parent. You're supposed to save everything for the kids to do. When she comes over, she should have to immediately start vacuuming, then do your dishes, then clean your windows, then take the trash and recycling out, then clean the trash barrel and recycling barrel too. What? No, that's dumb. The other thing too is, you might have these chores for Morgan, but she's with you way more than she's with me. You know what I mean? Technically, she's there every day. Even the days that I have her, she gets off the bus there and she's home for a couple hours before I show up, Tuesday and Thursday. So it's yeah, if you have her do chores, it makes sense. She's there every day. If you have her take out the trash or something, she's there every day. Like I said, I'm not going to save the trash at my place. for when she's there. Oh God, I really got to take my trash out. It's Saturday. It's not my weekend, but I got to save this till Tuesday because she has to do it. Like, that's dumb. No, I'll just take it out. Oh, trash is full. I'll just take it out. Trash day is Monday anyway, so I want my trash out so it can go. Like, so yeah, those are all the things that I think about why Morgan might act the way she does with her mom. And then she says to me too, like, oh, I just want you to back me up and stuff, blah, 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 with Morgan. Like, if I give her a punishment because how she is, I want you to enforce that too. And that's the other thing. I'm like, I do everything with Morgan. If you take away TV from her, that means I don't have TV, and I'm not having that. I want to watch movies with her. I'm watching movies with her. Like, you know, I can't back you up for something like this where you've basically cultivated. This is your problem. This is your fault. It's nothing that I'm going to be involved with. I didn't do this. I made, Morgan and I's relationship's great. You made a crappy relationship between you two. I'm not going to back you up on a dumb punishment. Now, if it's something more serious, like say she has terrible grades in school and you're like, because her grades are bad, I decided to this. Then okay, fine. I'll back you up on that because that makes sense. That's something that would affect both of us, her doing poorly in school. Or say she, gets into a fight with some kid and she started it, not the other kid. The other kid starts it, I don't care, whatever. There's no punishment. But say she started it for no reason. Okay, yeah, whatever punishment you come up with, she's not watching TV for a month or something. Okay, fine. It's kind of boring for me, but it makes sense. But something like this, I'm not backing you up. You brought this on yourself. Like, nobody told you to scream at her all the time when she was a baby. Nobody told you to not play with them and have fun with them. And nobody told you to favor the boy over her and baby him like nobody's business, but then be super hard on her. You know what I mean? Like, all these things that you brought on yourself. I'm not going to back you up. This is your problem. You want to punish her at your place? That's unfortunate for her, but I'm not carrying that out with me. Anyhow, I guess that's about all. I don't have anything else bopping around my head. See, like I said, talking about it makes me feel better. Now that I got it out, it's not really floating around in there anymore. I don't have anything else that I can think of adding. So, I guess that's it. And if you listen to this, which I highly doubt it because these get barely any views, but if you did, thanks a bunch. And until whatever the heck comes next, I said see ya.